Hello, repair enthusiasts, repair-minded individuals. Today, boy oh boy, do we have a doozy. Let's see. Now, I wasn't trying to plug it in all the way so I can show you, but I believe we're getting a flash of backlight followed by radio silence. So we're going to try to plug this in one more time. Maybe I'm wrong. Have to double check, but it does seem to me this is the Toshiba that we're looking at. It's a Fire TV. Backlight died. You can still hear sound. And there's a note that we can see it behind the screen. You can see it with a flashlight. I don't hear any sound. Oh, now I do. You hear that? That is our TV. And the reason why I say that this is a bit of a doozy, a bit of a tricky repair is because if you will notice, bring it up close, if you notice or not, the bezel on the TV, it's just TV, straight on metal, straight on the chassis. There's really no bezel whatsoever. So this does make it a bit trickier than your standard backlight repair. And we're gonna see if we can do this. Now I will say, the most important thing, maybe not the most important thing, but it's important to have some adhesive. So, excuse me, so that when you put the backlight back together, sorry, when you put the panel back on, it doesn't just fall off. So you need to make sure you're getting the right adhesive strips. They make thick strips, but you want these really thin strips that we have here. You can see that. Oops. And they also have to be very sticky. High quality foam tape. Yeah, this we actually imported. They do not sell this from, I mean, I looked on eBay for this. I looked for this. I searched TV adhesive strips, and I could not find anything except for over in Asia. So luckily, I mean, unfortunately we had to wait a while, but yeah, I just made sure to get a bunch. Probably gonna need to get more soon. And so yeah, that's the situation with that. But first, of course, we're gonna want to, we will want to remove the back and test the backlights. So I'm gonna grab some tools, backlight tester as well, and we're gonna get this guy unscrewed. Gotta be very careful, of course, with the panel since there's nothing protecting it. It's just, you know, straight panel action. Now this does share a similar design as the Hisense TV, the 58R6E3, so I'm kind of curious about that, but I don't think that's the issue that we have, right? Different issue. It is very similar though. I think before we get any further, just gonna check with our backlight tester. Turn it on and test these backlights. So just get this at a good angle for you to see this. And very easy, there's only one connection really. Positive, negative. Anything, nothing. Let's reverse the polarity. Did shock myself a little bit, but still nothing. So pretty clearly a backlight issue. Put this aside for later. In the meantime, let's finish getting this thing taken apart. And so we get this off and set this to the side. I think we want to take these speakers off. Legs for the mounts for the legs. Screw mounts for the legs, whatever you want to call it. I want to get these, actually this we can keep, this doesn't matter. This unplugged. Make sure there's no screw or anything holding this in place. And I'm gonna trade out our screwdriver for one with a smaller bit. I'm gonna leave 2 screws actually in the bottom piece, which is the closest thing there is to a bezel on this TV. pardon me. And we are going to just give it a flip. Oh, of course, these pieces are going to fall off. Kind of forgot about that. This little piece of plastic. So I'm going to come around and get the other plastic piece off. And then we have 2 more screws on this bottom piece of silver painted plastic. Okay, so the easy part is done. Now we're going to find out why this TV is particularly, particularly tricky. So we're gonna just free the panel. Now, there is some, I'm gonna put some gloves on from this point on because we're touching panel territory, but there is some strange kind of residue, some questionable substance right there. I don't quite know what it is. Oh, I dropped it. Let me know in the comments if you can identify this material. Yeah. It's actually kind of just like, honestly, it looks like someone spilled like beans and like the bean juice like dried and hardened. That's just what it looks like to me, at least. Okay, so we are all set to tape this up, and then, okay, so the reason why this TV is a little tricky, like I said, it has no bezel. It's just panel straight onto the metal chassis. So that means there's adhesive in play. Generally, we take off adhesive with either, what happened to the floss? Okay. With either, spoiler, but we usually use alcohol or heat to remove adhesive, but in this case, both of those are not gonna work out well for us. Because if we use alcohol, it will destroy the diffuser. Same thing with heat, and then also heat will potentially damage the panel. So we're gonna take floss. Now this might not be strong enough, but it looks like it is. And just kind of floss the TV. And you do want to be careful around the ribbons on the bottom. Sometimes you will break the floss if you use too much kind of tension, but that's okay. Floss is pretty cheap. We're gonna go from this side now, and I do like to focus on the bottom just because it's, you know, you can potentially rip the ribbons if you're not careful. So now, this TV is pretty small, so we can get it from the other side, and gonna need a new piece of floss. Now, if the floss isn't strong enough for this, there is, you can use copper wire. That's what I use for TVs in which the adhesive is really strong. Wow. Okay. I use the copper wire. And you'll see, probably not the last time we're gonna break our floss. I think we're gonna just keep going from this corner. Okay, and we broke through on that side. So now we're going to try to go for the other side. The thing is, with this method, you will get a lot of residue from the adhesive on the panel, on the bezel, or the chassis. And and also the adhesive is generally still attached. It's just kind of, in pieces. So you have to peel it off and then make sure there's no residue when you go to reattach it. So let me see if I can get that on camera. See how on the edge there's kind of some flakes, and there's really just like a continuous band that we have to peel off. So take it to our other station to peel that off, and we'll get to that in a sec. But this TV is just, with the adhesive, it's just a real pain. If anyone has a better method to remove the panel, let me know. But yeah, in my experience, I've only been able to get good results with the floss method. But it does just take longer than your average backlight repair. You gotta spend the time to peel these. Peel these sides, and you can really use something like this to peel it off, especially if you don't have nails. Just to kind of get it started. course, you don't want any of this residue on the panel or on the diffuser. Otherwise, you'll have black spots on the TV. Do want to do a good job on this just because you want the adhesive to stick on to the panel and to the metal, to the chassis. Otherwise your TV will fall, your screen will fall out of your TV, and it's just not fun to deal with that. Try from this side. Okay. And gonna take the vacuum, just clean up a little bit. I'm gonna do the same thing with the panel side. Fortunately, I can't bring the camera over there to show you, but I'll try to stitch in some footage of me doing that process, because it's a little tricky, a little different. That took entirely too long, but it's kind of how it goes with this model, with this design, the Bezelless. Now there are Bezelless Roku TVs or even Android TVs that, you know, benefit from the sleek design, sleek bezel-less design, but they use a, you know, they're not technically bezel-less. They have a plastic, kind of like this piece, around the edge of the metal, so it's not just, you know, it's not just panel on the metal frame. And the benefit of that is really, really us, the repair technician, when we, sorry, I was just talking about my mic. Okay, but yeah, when we remove the bezel or remove the panel, we can just use the, like remove it from the just take the bezel off with the panel, and that way we don't have to mess with any adhesive. So, kind of like what we're doing here. Of course, it's not the case here, otherwise it would be on all four sides. And usually actually with that other design, it's one piece on all four sides. All right, so that is that. I do want to touch it up a little bit. Make sure there's nothing. Because once we close this, we do not want to open it again. So I'm actually not gonna fully remove this, and I'm gonna need to put on a new pair of gloves. But I'm just gonna take the diffuser out. I'm just gonna bring it forward, bring it down. I'm not gonna completely take it off. So a little bit of adhesive at the bottom. Kind of smells like honey, weirdly enough. But, okay, I'm gonna take it one step at a time. I'm just gonna test. Maybe we don't have to test the bottom too. All right, top two strips work. Pretty stable, difference of about 0.1, 0.2 volts. So it looks like our issue is in the bottom strip. So check halfway. Check the other half. All right, so it's somewhere here. It might be the first one, actually. Okay, so we've narrowed it down. Let's see, it's quite simple. Once you get the hang of it, I'm just gonna set this up in a good angle. So don't worry too much about the numbers here, just realize everything lights up. You want to get the red one. There. Okay. So we try to light up everything. No dice. And we try after the first one. I mean, really, I went strip by strip. So this one's good. This one's good, and I know they're all on the same line. So I can just move the red, keep the black, and just test all of them. So I was like, okay, these three strips work. It must be this one. I'm right. So I went halfway. Nothing. Check the other half. So bring the red over to where my black just was, and oh, so the other half works. The other half works. Check half again. That half works, and then I'm like, all right, well, it kind of seems like it's the first one, so I check right after the first one, and every single LED lights up except for this guy right here. So if we light up everything we can, so that means we're gonna grab a donor. This should do. Gotta be careful. So we grab our donor right here, has positive and negative labeled for us. We do just want to double check that this is, what's it called? Sorry, that this is a 3-volt LED. Rarely you will find 6-volt LEDs. Generally, I only have seen them in LGs, but we're just gonna get a little close up right here. See if we can't maybe zoom into this. Right here. And I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. So I want to make sure I get a picture because this is quite interesting. The LED itself is cracked, burnt up. And that's generally what happens. So, yeah. Anyways, we can go ahead and take this and pinch it off. I actually prefer to use my spatula. Kind of just give it a good whack. And vacuum, of course. Now we want to make sure that there's no, bridge. So that's a good indicator if we just easily just test, if there was a bridge, then we could just go like that, but we can't. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to work inserting this new LED. Grab my soldering iron. Luckily this iron doesn't take too long to heat up. Honestly, the rest is very simple. We've done this plenty of times. Honestly, the biggest deal with this TV is just getting the screen off, and making sure there's no residue from the adhesive. I want to make sure we get a good connection. You might be cringing at what I'm doing, but honestly, that is how I make sure I get a good hunk of solder on there. And we can go ahead and do the same thing on our LED. Tin our wire a little bit. And I just tin the iron just to make it easier. And just repeat with the negative terminal. All right, so we can go ahead and rip that. Don't have to tape it just yet. I do want to give it a quick test. And nice, we're good. All right, so that's easy enough. I'll probably zoom out. And we can unplug the backlight tester. I'm gonna just plug in. Ooh, and you know what? I hope I have the, okay, good. Always wanna make sure the LEDs are unplugged from the rest of the circuit, so you're not, you know, sending voltage back to the rest of the board. So we have it plugged in. Set a power button. Somewhere. And we're good to go. So that one LED looks slightly brighter. Just want to point that out. But I don't think it's much. By much, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. But we'll see once we put the diffuser on. Because the diffuser will naturally balance it out a little bit. So you won't be able to see it, the viewer, but I can see there is a bright spot with that LED. So I'm tempted to just bridge it, but I do hate doing that. So I might do something else to make it a little darker. I'll try this. This is either really stupid or not really stupid. All right, I think that actually helps a little bit. And you know what would help even more? Probably if I put this paper, this blacked out paper, okay, that's much better. I'm gonna take a picture, try to insert the picture in there. But here is, you can see, you might be able to see half of the backlight is, I colored it with Sharpie, but some of it I did not. And then I think I made it slightly better with just a piece of thermal paper, Sharpie. Could have just heated up the thermal paper and it would probably be possibly even better. But I think it's fine for what we need it for. We can also go ahead and unplug it. We're coming up on an hour, so kind of want to get done with this soon. This is not too long of a video. All right, looks even. So now is the fun parts, I believe. Now we get to use the adhesive strips we were talking about earlier. They're actually pretty easy to use, but putting the screen back in place is a bit of a challenge. This can be tricky too, but you can redo it quite easily. If you mess up, you kind of just use your finger to guide the adhesive to go where you want. Push it down, Make sure it's all good. And now we can just, hopefully, wait, sure that's all good. Just peel the plastic off, hopefully. When you look up this this adhesive, just make sure you look up double-sided adhesive for TV screen, TV panel. And let me know if you find it in the US, because I could not. All right, moment of truth. I'm gonna give the panel a once over. And I do want to see if I can get it looking just a little better. Hello, welcome in. Give me 1 second. How can I help you?
I'm here to pick up a TV. I got a text that it was ready.
Okay, sure thing.
My name is Lewis.
Can you still? Okay, dang, this mic has a really good battery. I was helping a customer, a couple of customers actually. I think actually a few customers, but a few repair-minded individuals. But we are gonna see if we can get this on. Center it. Get this centered. Oof. How do we do? How did we do? Honestly, not terrible. A little bit that way, a little bit that way. Got more of an edge on this side. But as long as everything is flush and situated, this has just a small lip, but hey, that's That's a win. I don't think I've ever been able to get to this type of TV with the bezel where you have to use the adhesive. I don't think I've gotten that first try ever. So I'm gonna count that as a win. It's not perfect, but it's a win in my book. So we're gonna go ahead and try and get this in here. And kind of lost my train of thought right there, but all right, we got one ribbon in. Excited for the weekend. It's Friday, almost closing, and really Sunday, Monday is my weekend. But yeah, I'm going to the beach this Monday, which I'm very excited about. Hang out with some friends I haven't seen in a while. But that is enough yapping. It's enough yapping for now. I'm gonna plug it in. I'm gonna plug it in. Pray that there's no obvious light or dark spots. Kind of looking in this corner. And I think it actually looks really good. That is a good looking TV. All right, so here we have it. She's beauty, she is grace. Now that's a good looking TV. Just gonna give it a little wipe. Probably gotta clean this rag again, so I'm gonna give it a wipe and give it a double cleaning. Maybe some alcohol on this edge, because that weird, strange substance is just on the edge. This is disgusting. I don't know what that is. Something must have leaked in there. Someone had a bean burrito and bean burrito leaked in the TV somehow. Leaky bean burrito, but I really want to get the edge because that edge is not gonna see light after I put this metal piece back on it. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean my rag, and then I'm just gonna put it all back together and show you the final result. So bear with me. So that's it. That is how we do it. Another backlight repair for the books, and so yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah. Now that's a good looking TV.